Hello, hello, hello. I finally made it on a regular Tuesday at an almost regular time. Welcome, everyone. Boy, do we have a full card for tonight. So, hey. So, those of you just driving by or watching behind the scenes or in the bushes, welcome. Welcome. It is nice to have people in the chat. Hello, Mrs. C and Grace and Shill. Thank you so much. And Student, thank you to the mods. And hello, Victoria. It's good to see you too. You know, I do hope that everybody is having a good night. The one thing I can say is it's not Monday. I mean, that's a good thing. Although Mondays have been okay to me lately. I really should stop bashing on them. You know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I still keep Mondays in the crapper? Or I don't know how you guys feel about it. Hey, Mip, good to see you too. Good to see you guys too. So, shall I bring up our proposed roster and let you guys decide where we're going first? Because I gotta tell you, it's a full card. It's a really full card. Some of the pictures you may not recognize, actually. I got the wrong one. There we go. I was looking very small there. Hello, Katie. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. So let me just go over some of the pictures you may not recognize. I'm sure there's quite a few you will, and they may even be names that you're tired of hearing about. But man, I can't stop. I can't stop with these three. Okay, so first we have at the top, we have Karen Reed. And I'm sure many of you will know that name. Next to Karen Reed was my pre-Christmas present, an axe murder. This is Corey Burke, rather, not Brooke, Burke. Corey Burke out of Seattle, Washington. And we're going to talk about that case. Right below Corey Burke is Lori Vallow, or Lori Daybell. You know, we don't want her yelling at me. Apparently, she's been really into the yelling lately. But we got to talk about her today in her jury selection today. Next to Lori Daybell Vallow is Paul Caneiro, the case out in New Jersey that I talked to you about. It was like a family annihilation, brother against brother. There's been some movement in that, and we need to talk a little bit about that. Next to him is Tad Cullam, a really bad seed, one of the 5 that have been charged in the Kansas moms homicide case of Veronica Butler and Julian Kelly. And we're going to talk about his latest filing and what's going on there. And then, of course, you may recognize that little face there, you know, clean headed there, Andrew Tate. Now, yeah, we have to talk about Andrew. Yes, I'm sorry, Mrs. C, but we do need to talk just a little bit about Andrew. You know, we got plenty to talk about here. So I don't know. Are you guys feeling one way or the other about any particular case, or shall I just let it rip? Hi, Sean. Welcome. Good to see you. Okay, let's see. Oh, well, yes, Shield, thank you so much for reminding me. I guess I should do the YouTube things and put the banner up. There you go. There's a banner. Let's get Tate out of the way. All right, we could do that. We could do that. Hold on. We could do that. I will do that for you, Mrs. C. There you go. All right. So there's Andrew. And basically what's going on with Andrew, if you'd been watching the socials the last couple of weeks, I mean, they weren't here in America. We talked about that. While he was here in America, the governor in his Department of Justice over there in Florida opened up an investigation into the Tate brothers based on information information they have from a civil suit and some complaints that they received. They were a little bit upset. So they got an ongoing investigation in Florida, but also in Las Vegas, a private suit was filed against Andrew Tate personally in a complaint from his girlfriend that he was visiting here. Now, she is known to have been in a relationship with him on and off for a while, and now she's making the same kind of allegations and claims that previously we have seen in several of the other filings, coercion, beating, choking. Her claim that she was forced to make a "I'm not a victim" video, forced to do certain things that she didn't want to, and that she was afraid of. She actually went to the hospital after their encounter, documented everything, and then filed a lawsuit. Now, I will say this. She knew who was coming to visit her. She'd been in a relationship with him before. They obviously have had some type of relationship going on for a while. So, listen, in this case, I'm of two minds. I'm not going to say that Andrew Tate's a good guy, because he's not. Okay. But I do think that this particular case that was filed reeks to me of agenda. And, a civil case trying to get some money, just stacking on, kind of like a whole lot of the ones in the P. Diddy case. All right. Now, is it I'm not sticking up for him. He is not a good person as far as I know. From what I can tell, just reading his social interactions. He's not exactly my favorite person, and you all know it. But I got to call it the way I see it. And this latest lawsuit just reeks to me of agenda and really isn't going to do true law and order any good when it comes down to the cases. Because when you do this kind of stuff, you take away from the real deal. You take away from real justice. And, it's a little infuriating for me that they're going to be getting in the way, because it's hard enough. The Romanian legal system is hard enough to navigate. Right now, some things have gone on in that case. Like, basically, they're going for re-indictment. They're working on the process. It's gone through the 3-judge review, and a lot was kicked back that had to be cleaned up. So now, as of today, the Tates and the other two women, Georgiana and Luann, went through their judicial review again. And they are still on judicial control, but they are allowed to travel out of the country, all 4 of them. And they are on, Andrew Tate's not on house arrest anymore. We already had talked about that about a couple of weeks ago. But they do have to show up now instead of every week, and then it was every other week. Now it's once a month. Now they have to come in once a month. So things have lightened up a little bit for them. However, it is falsely being reported by some, mostly a little group I call tater tots, the ones that are pushing the agenda that there's nothing to see here, have said that the case is over. It is not. They still have to come in for judicial review, which means there's still a very strong investigation in possible prosecution going on. There are still 2 parts. There are still 2 cases. Neither one has been dropped. But there has been some movement that gives them some leverage to say these things. Now, we know that they seized a lot of properties of the Tates, houses and properties in Romania, and all of their cars and all of these. And they have actually relinquished control of the house back to the Tates so that they could live there. Although DCOT, you can't sell it, you can't do anything. They actually have a lien on it. And contrary to what's being reported about them getting all their cars back because there's no case, they are getting all their cars back because the cars need to be maintenance. They want to keep them in good shape. They don't want them to deteriorate. And the Tates have been petitioning for over a year to get those assets back under their control with liens on them. They can't sell them and they can't do stuff. DCOT can still seize them because there is a large tax liability that they're looking on. This is a RICO case about a conspiracy to make money illegally in Romania. They're not turning over assets very easily. They are letting them have actually control of them to house them and to drive them and to take care of them. But there's still can't do anything with them because of the deco liens. Do you understand what I mean? It's like kind of here as if the federal government came and like seized all your assets, but let you use your bank account to pay your grocery bills and your regular bills, but like not transfer money to foreign countries or make any large investments or something like that. Okay. I don't know who that is, Sean, but that's very interesting. Sean is saying that there's a comedian and iTuber that is offered his platform for any victims to tell their story, and he doesn't do that often, and it's pretty cool. Cool. If you can send me a link on a back of one of the video, especially on this video, for anybody that would be interested in that, like that's kind of cool. We can get that information out there. But I think more people should tell their stories. It is very, I think it's very brave of the ones that did come forward, okay, and that are actually trying. And I think they need to be protected, also with their names and things like that. In a lot of these cases, I've been very disappointed in what has happened to witnesses and or victims. It seems like, I'm in the true crime genre out here on YouTube, but there are many different parts of it. And I had to say that some of it makes me cringe to even say I'm in the true crime genre because some of the things that happen I think are so horrific and so over the line, and I just don't understand it. And I don't want to judge, like, let people do what they want. YouTube is a big place, there's a place for everybody, but I really don't want to be associated with any of that. um it's really hard. Thank you, Sean, for the information. Hey, Jin, how are you? So anyway, currently they went through their thing today, and then after they got out of DCOT, which you can see them leaving the building there, and it doesn't Tristan look lovely in his pink suit? Well, they got on a plane and they went to Dubai, and everybody had said that they would go to Dubai. And I will tell you that Dubai does not have an extradition order with Romania, but I don't really think that's why they're there. Okay, they're there with their friends, they're partying, they're making a big show of how they're taking over the world again. Nothing to see here, everything is just fine. It is true. They are in Dubai. They have posted from Dubai. They have shown the plane landing. They've shown them all the things. I would say it's pretty critical. But if you want to know about the process of what's been going on actually in with the case itself, I'm going to post for you several threads that you can read on the internet, and they're from Twitter, but they're from the reporter Maurizio Barroso, who is back on Twitter again, making it easier for me. Although he was on Blue Sky for the longest time only, he is now back posting on Twitter, and I'm able to grab his threads and post them for you, where he explains the process. He explains some of the stuff that's going on, and I have to say, like, I want to. I don't have legal documents often from Romania. What's wrong with my audio? Okay, is it really really bad? Because I don't hear it. Hmm. Okay, did it stop? All right, it might have been because I was like, I was clicking. Was it the? All right, it could have just been the everything going on. Sorry about that. I didn't see anything on the. Okay, but now it stopped and it's back again. All right, hold on. I'm gonna mute for a second. Give me one moment. Okay. I'm hoping you can hear me better now. I had to reset. You didn't break me, but I had to run away for a minute. Yeah, I was gone. I had to fix it. In order to fix it, I had to reset everything. So sorry about that. Sorry about your ears, Tube. It's nice to see you. I'm sorry to bring you into the chat with screaming ear pain. Um, I'm glad it sounds better. Thank you very much, guys, for telling me, because I did not hear it in my earphones, and it did not actually. My headphones did not come up, and it did not register on my meters. Like I'm looking at my audio interface, and it didn't show anything. So thank you. Please never hesitate to tell me. Thank you. So anyway, with this case with Andrew Tate, they're in Dubai. There's no actual extradition agreement with Romania. But I find it interesting they're making this trip to Dubai, because the first tweets that Andrew Tate has been making that I find highly suspect is he's taunting the English courts. He's taunting the UK courts about, ha ha ha, I was in America and you didn't get me. Like, you're just a joke. And he actually is making claims that the Romanian court actually told him that the UK court is a joke, and that everybody's making fun of them. I don't actually believe anything that Andrew Tate says. I'm just mentioning this because I find it like clearly sus as to the agenda of what's going on with this tour of being able to travel and go around. I would say I'm not very happy with my own country for actually what appears to be interference in getting some of these travel restrictions lifted, some pressure that may be applied. We're never going to know the truth about that. I can't actually say that that's a fact. I won't, because I don't have any documentation. But I will say, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, does look a little bit iffy to me. And that's that. Okay, so, damn. Well, any questions on Tate, or shall I remove him? Shall I remove him for now? I am removing him from now. Ask your questions if you have them. But basically, Romanian case is still on. Nothing is happening in England until, the UK case, until Romania is settled. And then there's an extradition order and an agreement with Romania to send them over there. But, they have to actually end up back in Romania for any of that to happen. And I doubt very much that the United States would allow them to be extradited for any reason whatsoever, based on the press tour that they did and all the damn officials that were shaking their hands and sitting with them at the fight and thinking they were the best thing since white bread. Yeah. Do I sound annoyed? Yeah, I was annoyed. I was very annoyed. We know he's out living his life, causing more havoc, whatever. Yeah, I get you, Mrs. C. It's a little disheartening, but don't lose face. Nothing's dropped yet. The one thing that I have learned, as much as I love the legal system, I really do. It's not perfect, and it's long, and sometimes good guys don't win. Sometimes bad guys win, but that's the system. Okay, and we've got to play the system by the rules, or at least hope to, and hope that someone like Andrew Tate will have to pay the price. I mean, he's got multiple countries with charges on him. It can't be a nothing burger. It's not like the United States and the UK and Romania all sat together in a room and decided to go target Andrew Tate. Like, that's ridiculous, but that's what they want you to believe. We're the Matrix. Or that it's some underground women's organization that just wants to tear him down because, like, he's the man. Like, all of that. It's the Matrix. They're taking him down because he speaks the truth. Yes. Yeah. It's crazy. All right. Okay, guys. Let's go back. Let's go back to the main picture and pick another circle. We got a lot here. We got a lot here today. All right, so I I wish I had my pen connected. I forgot to connect it. I could have put a red X right through his face, but like, no, we're done with him. Okay. Let's get Lori out of the way. Okay. You're going to be very surprised about what I got to say about Lori. Okay, hold on. Let me get Lori up for you. This time I won't make you dizzy by leaving it up while I switch, because that just was not very polite of me, and I apologize. All right, so Lori Daybell, here we go. First of all, please watch my video on the hearing, okay? Because a new Lori, well, not a new Lori, maybe the real Lori, entered the courtroom, and the way that she talked to that judge when she didn't get her way, just, well, it's kind of going to let you know what the trial is going to be like. It's going to be buckle up, buttercups, because Lori's going to have her way, damn it. Okay. So we had jury selection, and I did post a little bit about that. Well, we have a jury. Yes, sit down. Yes, in a day and a half, Judge Boreski got himself a jury, and it wasn't even a full day. All right, was not even a full day. It was just half a day yesterday, and then we had the motions, and I posted that video on the motions where the real Lori shows up and tries to claim victim because she's all locked up under maximum security for 3 convictions for murder, not 1, not 2, but 3. Conspiracy and frauding of a system to do it. Okay, and she's claiming victim that she can't defend herself appropriately. And oh, by the way, wasn't it her choice to go pro se? Nobody made her do it. And it's her, and it's like, oh my God, it's prosecution by ambush. And she's so upset that the prosecutor said that she was trying to try the case by ambush because she wanted all these witnesses and this expert to come in without doing anything you're supposed to do, like, issue subpoenas, have interviews, do discovery, disclose to the other side what the testimony is going to be about, and the CVs and all of this. And oh, by the way, the simplest thing, the basic contact information for the witnesses so that the other side can fairly contact them. Well, she threw a hissy fit in that courtroom. She said, it's not like they don't know who these people are for the last 5 years. They have all the police interviews. They have everything. I have nothing. And the judge has to remind her about the 22 terabytes of information she does have that her investigator actually admitted in the hearing of the 18th. He can't be bothered to go through it all to look for what she needs. She has a full-time investigator and a full-time paralegal, and they did not provide any information to the witnesses. Lori Vallow has not herself interviewed anyone, or her investigator or her paralegal. They have not done their due diligence, and she's crying foul. And the judge said, oh, boo-boo, that's what you get. That's why I'm telling you, asked you repeatedly if you wanted a continuance, which you would surely be entitled to under these circumstances. But she knows, nope, that would violate my rights to speedy trial, because, it's all about the convicted murderer's rights. And I do believe it is all about her rights, so she does deserve a fair trial. But at this stage, she's not going to get one, and it's her own damn fault. It's her own fault. Her own expert witness never even submitted a report until last night. They said it was going to come in last night. And the judge says, well, I'm going to preclude him for now. And if there's anything in there, we'll think about it. But most of her witnesses are precluded. She tried to get one of the reporters, Nate Eaton from East Idaho News, who covered her first trial for the murders in Idaho, got him on the witness list because he had talked to everybody involved in the case, and she thought it was an easy way to impeach people. That didn't fly. Judge let him off. The only witness that we know from Lori's side that will appear is her brother, Adam Cox, who is also on the state's list because she did talk a lot of her religious beliefs with him, her brother, Adam, and also her mother and her sister, Miss Schiffler, will be on the list so far. and they won't be allowed into the courtroom until after they testify. But she is definitely trying to spout law that doesn't exist and try to claim things that don't exist. And she doesn't really have a very good understanding of the process. And she actually thinks that she should be allowed to go around it. And it is a little frustrating. I really feel for Judge Boreski, but he's on it. He is on it because today they sat there 16 jurors, 13 men, 3 women. And when I say that everybody is reporting that Lori put on the charm when it came to those men, and she definitely wanted an all-man jury, like, it's going to be interesting to watch. I do hope they don't fall for it. I do hope they remember that most of the people that are dead are her ex-husbands. Yeah. Because, she was never charged in Joseph Ryan's death, but he conveniently died when she needed money and wanted to move on too. But, I'm just saying. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. My bad. I should stick to the facts, basically. Okay. Well, Chad Daybell's wife, she's convicted of that murder, and her 2 children. Convicted. I can say it. Murderer. Life sentences. 3 of them. Okay. She got turned down for all of the things to throw out her case for prosecutorial misconduct, because when they actually read what happened, it ain't what Lori said. And the judge was pretty clear about pointing that out. There is no prosecutorial misconduct because your correspondence between your appeal attorney and yourself, when you are told by your appeal attorney that you're not on a private line, they're not confidential if you continue to talk. And by the way, I read all the messages. There was nothing in there. Nothing in there that was confidential or actually, you guys talking about your case. It was all about setting up the line. And oh, by the way, she said, yeah, but there was more. Once he got the phone number secured, those messages were dumped. Well, when she says dumped, that's the prison system, because everything you do in prison, besides your confidential communications with your attorney, is up for grabs for the prosecution. There are dumps of your phone calls, dumps of all your correspondence. There are dumps of everything that you do to the prosecution if they want them. And it was in those dumps. It's not like the prosecution asked for her private communications with her attorney. It's not like they used them for anything or violated any of her rights. And she's right when she says that her attorney did request a private line, and they were using that private line periodically. And yet her attorney often would use different IP addresses, which means the prison couldn't tell that they were private communications, and some of them were included in the dump. But they were nothing burgers. There was nothing there that violated anything or changed anything in the case or damaged her in any way. And the judge made clear to tell her that. And the judge does have a lot of patience, but he is starting to push back on her and going, no, that's not how it is. And this is why you need to talk to your counselor attorneys. You need to talk to the co-counsels there that are there to support you. You need to ask the right questions, because what she thinks is going on is not what's going on, and she's wasting a lot of time. All of this about trying to get the prosecutor thrown off the case. Not only did she want the case dismissed, both cases, by the way, dismissed because of something that was irrelevant to her case, she wanted the prosecutor sanctioned and disbarred. Apparently, Lori Vallow thinks like she's somebody to still mess with, even though she's serving life sentences, 3 of them. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting trial. Anyway, we've got 13 men, 3 women. I don't know who the jury's going to be or the alternates, but it is very man heavy. And they were sworn in today, and we are going to have opening statements on April 7th. Judge Boreski said so, and I believe him. We're going to be there for it, definitely. So all what I got to say is, anybody, please voice your opinions on whether you want that live or recorded. Maybe opening statements would be nice live. I don't know. But I don't think we're going to have a jury in the Reed case for a while. So I think we will be free on April 7th to do it either way. So hit the back of the video or contact me something. Let me know. Let me know how you're feeling about it. Because that's how it's going to be. She had a bad day in motion hearings yesterday. Nothing went her way. She even pushed back on the fact that she has to wear the shock belt because she said that the recommendations from the MCOS, the prison system, said, well, she could wear the shock thing, or they could have a whole bunch of extra guards and she wouldn't have to wear it. They said either or, but the judge says, no, you're going to wear it. Then you're going to wear it because I say so, because my decision. He said, whether or not they have extra guards here or not, that's their decision, but you're wearing it. She said, I'm just not clear of what you're saying. And he had to say it a couple of times, but he was pretty firm about it. She is a convicted murderer, not just one, 3. Okay. And acting pretty entitled, So now I don't blame him. I don't blame him, Yeah, Katie, she is a little bit like, she is very, very weird. And I'm wondering how much her beliefs are going to be coming into all of this. She definitely is acting a bit soft sit as far as rights and stuff. Everything's about her rights. We've heard about the first, the fourth, the sixth, the eighth, the 14th, the 6th, like everything. You name it, like everything, Yeah, it is going to cover it, Mippy. They're not going to see it, but that is one way that they, somebody's got their finger on that button, and if she goes to leave the podium or leave the courtroom in any, like, they can get her. Like, it is a way to keep a prisoner under control. I mean, she's a maximum security prisoner. This is not like check fraud. This wasn't petty theft. She is under maximum security in the prison. She gets out 1 hour a day. Being able to come to court every day is like a walk in the park for her. She gets to sit in a chair with nothing on, She doesn't have to wear the leg braces or the handcuffs. Like, she gets to wear regular clothes and talk to others. Like, she should just, count her blessings, so to speak, I mean, no matter what happens in this trial, she's still got those life sentences. And don't forget, and most importantly, Judge Boreski said that the second trial for the attempted murder of her nephew-in-law, her ex-nephew-in-law, Brandon Bordeaux, starts June 2nd, even though he might have to leave 2 weeks into it for training. It's starting. They've got it on the donkey. So there's that. So she's not going to be able to complain anymore about that. All right. So how about any questions in regards to Vallow? We'll just get her out of the way. Bye. Take her down. Let me just check the chat. I don't want to ignore you guys when I'm up here. I'm so glad. So it's so nice to have you guys here to talk to today. You know what? You're right, Mrs. Cassandra. In all seriousness, those their children, her ex and her brother, all lost their chance in life because of her. And you know what? For real, I hear you. And she seems to forget that the judge is the balancer and the gatekeeper. And you guys will hear me say this often, probably, especially in the hearing videos. It is his job to balance both sides, to make sure she gets a fair and equitable right, and the right to face her accusers, and the right to defend herself how she chooses. It also the prosecution to make a case for the people about a wrongdoing, for justice for the victims and those affected by this alleged crime. And he needs to balance that out. And he is the arbitrator of the law in this case. What he says goes. His interpretation in the law, not Lori's misinterpretation or the prosecution wanting to beat her up with it. His interpretation of the law, he's the mediator, he's the expert. Listen to him, because what he says goes. You don't get to challenge him. It's a bad idea to challenge a judge. Just saying, Mippet, he really is amazingly patient. We have had some amazingly patient judges recently. The Sarah Boone judge, come on, like that man, And what is it with women wanting to be pro se murderers? Like, what is this new trend? Is it the thing for 2024, 2025? I'm going to have to check it. I have to keep my eye on who's representing himself in these murder cases because damn. Mm, even Boone tried it temporarily. I'm not sure who that is, Katie. I'll have to look up the name. But I do know that she was definitely, from all reports, I didn't see it because, of course, the jury interactions are secluded and they were not in camera today. But all of the reporting I saw on the socials was that she was quite flirty, like quite eye up with the guys, quite catering, a bit manipulative. And these were gentlemen that were saying it. It wasn't even women being catty or anything because they don't like her or whatever. But they said she was obviously trying to use some feminine wiles on them. I don't know how that's going to work when you're a convicted murderer and they're going to hear about it. That's the other thing. They are going to hear about it. All right. So next. Okay. So Lori's got an X in her face and so does Andrew Tate. Where you want to go, people? Oh, Katie, that's horrible. Wow. Yeah. I probably didn't hear about it because I don't often do anything to do with the children. It's really too upsetting with me. Oh, Mrs. Cassandra's calling the shots down there. She wants Karen Reed. Going once, going twice. Okay. Yep. Oh, everybody says Reed. Okay. Look at you. Look at you like ruling the roost there, Mrs. C. Okay. In Massachusetts versus Karen Reed, the who's on charge for allegedly backing up in causing the demise of her then boyfriend, Officer John O'Keefe. Okay. Now, we're in jury selection also with Karen Reed, started today. And I'm happy to report that we did find 2 jurors. Well, the statistics were wow. First of all, there were some violations of the buffer order. People were actually escorted by police away, kicked out, ran in. They were serious. They were serious about this buffer zone. Okay. The other thing is that, they're trying very hard not to give any descriptions of the jurors at all. But there is a video from a news site in the playlist for Karen Reed that is Judge Canone reading over the procedures, reading over the instructions, talking about the witness list, talking about their service, and going, asking certain questions. You don't see any jurors. It's only the first part. I think it's like 40 minutes long. So those of you interested in that process, I did put it in there. I didn't record it myself. I mean, it didn't make any sense to do it. I've got nothing to say about it. This is the process in Massachusetts. This is how they do it. But it's nice to see, them in action. What I can tell you is that we have 2 jurors at the end of the day, 1 man and 1 woman. Okay. Out of the 62 from the 92 or the 52 from the 92 that were actually brought in. And of those 92, 85% of them had heard of the case. 78 people said, we know about this case. We heard something about it. It's going to be very hard to get anybody who's never heard anything about it. But it's not that you can't hear anything about the case. It's that you can't have already formed an opinion or be biased. That's the other thing. 16 people answered that they had clear bias in regards to this case. I expected the number to be higher, actually. But 16 of those that would admit it, that they had already biased. And an astounding 40% of them formed some kind of opinion. Now, not that opinion of most of them was more than likely it's a shit show. There's too much out in the media about this. Like, what's going on? I'm confused. It wasn't oh, I think she's guilty. Oh, I think she's not guilty. It was more like, it's a mess. Like, I don't know what to think. Like, that kind of stuff. Because for 40 of them to say that was a lot. Was a lot. But we do have 2 jurors. Now, Now, they're reporting that it could take more than a week to sit the rest of the jury, but I'm saying if they got 2 in one day, like, it could go better. It could, but we'll see. They did spend a lot of time in private sidebar talking to individual juries back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and that could take a long time. But I'm hoping they don't sit the jury until we get at least opening statements from Lori Vallow. But on the other hand, there was a lot of motions the day before that Judge Caneiro had actually ruled on. And there's only one that I'm still waiting to hear on, and that is the defense wanting to bring a rebuttal witness to a rebuttal witness, because, you know, Dr. Wolf is actually going to be the rebuttal witness to Dr. Russell, who is the defense witness about the dog bites. And now the defense wanted to bring another witness to rebut the rebuttal. And so the Commonwealth obviously filed something on that, going, that's ridiculous. That's not even allowed in Massachusetts law. Like, what are you talking about? There's no purpose for this testimony except for to rebut a rebuttal. And, you know, we're not even going to bring this guy on unless they bring that one on. So this is just like a waste of the court's time. But we'll see what happens with that. On the other hand, the defense was denied quite a few of their with their witnesses. They're not allowed to bring Detective Eisler in to talk about how bad a former FBI investigator who they wanted to bring in as an expert witness to say how shoddy the investigation was. And Judge Caneiro is not saying that the investigation wasn't shoddy. She's saying the actual testimony and of the actual people involved in the investigation will clearly show that to the jury, and that the defense has every opportunity to actually question them on that and give the prosecution the actual opportunity to say what the actual conditions were. Remember, we were talking about a blizzard. So she's trying to be fair. What she didn't want to do was bring in an expert witness to say, you should have done this. You should have done this way, that way, under perfect circumstances, whatever. After all, this FBI investigator was not part of the investigation. And it's kind of like, you know, hindsight is perfect vision. And she just, you know, I kind of agree with her. It kind of just makes it look worse than it was. I'm not saying it was perfect, because obviously it wasn't. There was so much wrong in this case. We can all point to it. Let's be honest. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. They collected blood samples from the snow in solo cups. They used plastic bags from shopping to pick things up. Like, they just were doing what they could to preserve what they could in the middle of a storm. Okay, and I get that. But it doesn't give them a free pass. It does give the defense something to say, and they should say it. But what they can't do is say that that's what they do all the time and bring some expert in to paint a picture of that's how it is all the time. And they're just some, like, you know, dog and pony sideshow, you know, as far as police work. You know, pick on the actual facts, talk about the investigation. You know, we do know that, you know, Proctor, the lead investigator, has been fired. We do know that he talked out of turn. He acted inappropriately. He does believe that she was guilty, and he just, you know, he said some things that never should be said, you know. But then again, I've seen Karen Reed's text, and she says some things that never should be said. That doesn't mean he should have did it. I mean, that's not like quid quote, you know, like, you know, good for the goose, great for the gander. Not that kind of stuff. Like, just because they did it, you can't do it. No one should have done it, you know. And it does give the defense plenty to go with. And that was her point. You got plenty here. You don't need this. It's a waste of time, and it's an unfair advantage. I get it. She didn't use the term unfair advantage, but clearly in the language in the cases that she picked to back up her decision, I clearly think that's kind of where she was going, you know. But I'm sorry that the cat is snoring. I can't really talk any louder. My throat's already getting a little sorry there, Grace. I don't want to blow anybody's eardrums out. But it's nice that your cat is so comfortable, isn't it? This your cat is so happy. Yeah. Yeah. I know she didn't look too happy today. There weren't a lot of smiles. I will tell you that the alternate juror who was so upset about not be picking, who is now on the defense team, was there helping with jury questionnaires with Reed. But she was not questioning jurors or talking to anybody. She was doing paperwork with Alan Jackson and Karen Reed, looking over things. But she did announce herself as on the defense team. I saw that in the video. And boy, did she have a great smile on her face walking into the courthouse today. I have been using the spray every day, Mrs. C, every day before I stream. And I did it right before I streamed. It just doesn't last that long. So there we go. All right. So any questions on Karen Reed? We're going to continue with the jury process for the rest of the week on her, and we'll be updating you on the community tab or on any other the true crime streams that I do. But jury deliberations going through. Also, if you're in my Discord, I've been posting all the filings there, so that you can see what's going on. And we're waiting for an answer on this rebuttal witness. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, and Karen Reed did not get her hearing device to listen to the jury stuff at sidebar. No, she is welcome to join sidebar every time with her attorneys, and she can continue to do that just as well. But they're not going to give her special hearing equipment to sit there at the table and do that whenever she chooses. She can get up, and that's been adequate all during before, and she's going to do that. Yeah, she is trying. She is trying for that, I kind of wished it came like in a bright green neon helmet with whatever, and made her look silly, like if they gave it to her. But, it's my fantasy. What can I tell you? Would have been good with her expensive suits, don't you think? Well, anyway, she was turned down. Everybody that's on the Free Karen Reed side says that's biased because she's disabled. She is not classified as disabled in any way. She had not filed for special privileges or treatments or things or special type of needs that she needs with the courthouse before. This was just a request through her attorneys. There's other ways if you need special accommodations through the court system. There's a way to do it, and that wasn't done. So don't come at me that we're violating the ADA against a disabled person if you don't bother to actually declare yourself a disabled person for the court ahead of time and do the process, because it's there. There's a process there. It's not up to us, to let you just go around it just because you can't be bothered. I mean, what, did you have a manicure appointment that day or something? Like, I don't want to hear it. I don't. Like, this is 3 years going on, and this is the first we heard about it. So there you go. Yeah. So I don't mean to sound so harsh, but yeah, I'm so harsh about that one. I am. All right. And any questions on Karen Reed, hit the chat. I'll check it in a second, and then I'll pull up who you want to talk about next. So much today. One of those cat in the hats would be suitable for hearing. Yeah, it could be. You might be onto something there, Couch. And thank you for holding down Twitch for me. I have no more members on Twitch. Come on, people with Twitch accounts. Just give me a follow. It's free. I'm not asking you for much. Push a button. Just it. That's all. Show me a little stroke the bear. Show me a little love. Yeah. I would really like to see more numbers over there. Although I'm quite happy with how things are going here on YouTube. And I do just do this for free also on Twitter, here and there. I get a lot of grief from the people who are opposite any opinion I might have in regards to any of these cases, because I do these things on Twitter. But hey, I'm just a little fish. Like, don't, I'm not moving mountains or anything. Let me be, All right. I don't see any questions. So here we go. We've got Corey Burke, our alleged axe murderer. We got Paul Caneiro, our family annihilator and arsonist, allegedly. And we got Tate Cullam in the Kansas mom's case there. What do you guys think? What do I think about Koberger? You're going to have to wait until Tuesday for that. That is planned for next Tuesday. Monday is Luigi Mangione in Rex Harriman, the Long Island serial killer, allegedly. And then Tuesday, Koberger's slated on the list with a couple of other things, Katie. Cass is in charge. Okay, Cass, what'll it be? You want Caneiro or Burke? The dentist? No, the dentist isn't up here. The dentist isn't going to be for a few months. You're talking, I know who you're talking about. The Colorado dentist who was poisoning his wife with her smoothies in the morning. So do you want Paul Caneiro, the Marlboro resident here in Monmouth County, New Jersey, who murdered his brother's family, allegedly, burnt down his house, attempted to burn down his own with his family in it? Oh, no, I didn't. No. Or Corey Burke, the alleged axe murderer of her own father on election night in 2024 in Seattle, Washington. And then we've got Tad Cullam, one of the 5 people accused of the murder of Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly in the Kansas City Moms case. And that one's actually out of Oklahoma because it was like right on the border there. Mippet said Caneiro. So we'll do Caneiro then next. That one's I'll pull up my stuff on him. All right, Paul Caneiro is a case out of New Jersey, right here in my own county. Okay. And happened back in 2018. It's a very long case. And I do have a playlist on it. We've talked about it a little bit, but basically he is being accused of murdering his brother's family based on business dealings gone south and for money. They owned businesses together. There was some money missing. This man was on disability. He didn't even get paid through the company himself. They paid his wife, so he wasn't discovered. Basically, it was shifting things around and about to get discovered, and things were not working out well between the brother. In 2018, neighbors had heard shots in the middle of the night, and then there was a fire, like smoke reported. When the officers in the fire department got there, they discovered the body of his brother Keith on the front lawn with shots to the back of his head and back. His wife on the stairs coming up from the basement also shot. In 2 of their 2 children, both young, I think, very preteen, definitely both of them with stab wounds, dead. The family died, the house burnt down. In the meantime, Paul Caneiro had gone back, allegedly through the charging document, had gone back to his home and started a fire inside his own home with his daughters and his wife there, to cover, to make it look like the whole family was being attacked by the mob or somebody that owes money or some kind of personal vendetta. And basically, his stories didn't gel. There are video cameras of him leaving the residence, things with gas cans, just enough to show that he was in both places. There is the testimony of the people that worked with there, the office manager, about the money being missing, about him discovering things, stuff like this. There's plenty of evidence there. But the big part about this case, was, you remember we talked about the admissibility of some specialized DNA evidence, because part of the evidence against Paul Caneiro in this case was a pair of jeans that were found in his basement in a laundry basket that had very small drops of blood on it. And when tested, there were multiple contributors to those blood spots, but there wasn't really enough. But there was this company, out of New Zealand called STR Mix, that does probabilistic genotyping. In other words, instead of saying exactly this, the probability is that, it's just another way of looking at it. And they can use very, very small amounts of DNA, and they can actually dissect who is in that job. When there's multiple contributors, they can actually do the probability of who it could possibly be, down to family lines and typing of the blood and all of these other characteristics. But basically, because that type of genetic testing had never been presented in a New Jersey court as expert or as valid technology, there was a huge hearing about it that went on for weeks. And the judge in this case, Judge Mark Lemieux, he went on, got all the evidence, and he took months researching this company. They even, the company even flew in their expert from New Zealand right here to New Jersey. Who knew? And he was right there in a courthouse 3 blocks from my house testifying on this, and it, they talked about other labs that use it around the country and other countries and stuff, and how it is coming up and it has been successful. And in our actual defense attorney department, we actually have a DNA expert, a scientist, and he's a lawyer. And he actually led the case for the defense in questioning these experts about it. It was a very interesting hearings, and they are also in the playlist. I didn't, record them myself, but I listed them all for you because, damn, that's going to be really, really interesting when it comes to this testing being prolific. But Judge Lemieux, long story short, has decided that evidence can come in. Okay, the defense challenged its reliability, but the judge concluded that it is a reliable method for DNA test analysis. In those blood, the reason they're trying to keep it out is because the blood on his genes matches to one of the children and himself, which proves he was in the house and puts him there. And that's why he didn't want it in. That's why they fought so hard. It really had nothing to do that it was a new company. It was like, let's use this to get it the heck out, because that's pretty damning evidence, as DNA usually is. Okay. Now remember, we also had a change of defense attorneys because of a change of position and stuff like that within the defense department here, the public defender's office here in Monmouth County. And so there was a slight delay at that time, and it was rescheduled. The trial was rescheduled for May. Okay. It should have happened in March, already. Well, they rescheduled it for May. Okay. Jury selection should start towards the end of May, but the actual trial date itself is June 2nd for testimony. Well, here's the problem. Recently, at the end of February, the beginning of March, Caneiro's defense attorney decided to file a motion requesting that the whole case be moved out of Monmouth County, because he's lived here his whole life, and his brother was very well known, and the case has been a topic of conversation since 2018, and they don't feel that they can get a fair trial. And they said that the pretrial publicity potentially affecting impartiality of jurors is too great. But the judge didn't automatically agree. He said, you know what? I'm going to hear both sides about this on April 2nd, which is tomorrow. So you'll be hearing from me again about this. So tomorrow, there's going to be a hearing on whether this case is going to be moved out of my county. And it means I can't go down there and watch it. And I'd be kind of bummed out, because seriously, I am 2 blocks from the courthouse. I was kind of looking forward to it. Okay. Let me just check the chat. And I forgot to switch over. There's Paul Caneiro. Okay. There is one female left and one male left, but this is Paul Caneiro. That is his brothers and his wife up there, the 2 small children. I didn't blur their faces because they've been public record for over 5 years now. But I'm only using the public record pictures, nothing else, like none of the personal pictures that some people have, put all of that. But no, Caneiro is not the bearded guy. No, Paul Caneiro is definitely not. He's in his 50s. Yeah, well, this has been going on since 2018, and it's like we're going into the 7th year now. Definitely, it has to be resolved. Well, now that the DNA issue is resolved, they can move forward. But now we have to deal with this change of venue, but I really don't see where it's that hot an issue after all these years. I really think that's why we're having a hearing. I really don't think that Judge Lemo thinks it's that serious an issue, and I think he will be able to sit a jury. I think they will be able to sit a jury. I think this is, again, Paul Caneiro has been delaying this case for years. Everything you can think of, they've thrown in here to try to delay this case. Okay. He not only has the murder charges, but he's got the conspiracy charges. He's got theft and defrauding charges, the arson charges. Yes, he's got more than just the murders that he's looking at. He definitely planned a whole big thing here, allegedly. And he's been using everything he can to get it out, including trying to use the thing about the insurance and all of this other stuff, as to try to get that to be a separate case, that it's unfair to try it all together. It was all the same event. So, no, I mean, it is what it is. I realize how bad it looks, Mr. Caneiro, but, this is what you're accused of. And it all ties together. But he wanted everything to be separate. The arson, the insurance fraud, and the absconding of the funds, and also then the murder kit. He wanted everything separate because it looks really bad when you put it all together. Except for it is all together. It is the crime, the totality of the crime, So the prosecution won on that, like, for sure. Yeah. Well, all right. So any questions? Any questions on that? And I'm sorry I didn't put the picture up sooner so you knew who I was talking about. I'm trying not to flip around, on screen, because that can be upsetting from some people. I've heard that can be like really, if you're looking at the big screen and all, it can really flip you out. And I don't want to do that to anybody. Yes, Mipid, I agree. He's a conniving one too. He's like definitely. I really want to see this case come to an end, the Paul Caneiro case. Either way, I want to see this actually so that people can move on, and I don't want to see it move down to Monmouth County, not just so that I could go if I wanted to, but also because that is the people he violated. The friends and the family of the victim are all here, and to make them go somewhere else to get their justice, to see their justice it's just not fair. It's not. I think enough time has passed that there is going to be a small amount of people that are prejudiced against him. Yes, the family, friends that knew the Caneiro family, how lovely they were, how much they gave to the community, the children, the children's friends and family. Yeah, those people. They're definitely not going to be Paul Caneiro fans, but they're not going to be sitting on the jury. There's going to be regular, everyday people that don't even know he exists. I mean, that don't even know he's on this planet that will be on the jury. I really don't think it's got that much coverage. I mean, seriously, I had to dig in my own county to find information. It's not that big a deal. It's not. So I hope that the hearing goes that way. No, that's just it. And I live in the county. I live one town away from where it happened. And if I was not a true crime, when I found out about this case, I started looking into it when they started talking about the DNA, because I was doing research on all the new technologies of DNA based on the Long Island serial killer and several other cases where DNA, like Koberger and many other cases that we're dealing with, became a big issue because of new technology that's rising. So the interest, because, once in a while, Bear likes to use your brain, a little fascination on the scientific end of all of these new technologies that are coming forth in DNA testing and how they can be used to solve unsolved crimes or very hard, difficult crimes with very little DNA. Okay, or just finding a suspect. Okay, and how DNA is becoming the linchpin to most cases. Look at Jack the Ripper is basically solved according to the media because of DNA. I mean, So I got fascinated. I looked it up. In this case came up because of the company, because of STR mix. It came up. And I was like, what? I know that name. Oh my God. Like, yes. And then I did the research. So I may have heard about it in 2018. It was probably all over the newspaper, like a flash in a pan, and then it went away. He got charged almost immediately, and then it wasn't in the paper anymore. Not until this DNA thing happened. So, I'm a local, but you're right. It was the true crime. It was looking for the DNA. I hate to go digging for it, so I don't see the need to change the venue. But then again, I'm not the judge. I won't get a say. Well, that's my opinion on it, basically. I hope it stays here because I think the people that need to see the justice have a right to be in that courtroom, and they shouldn't have to be inconvenienced. They've waited long enough. So there we go. So do you guys have a preference now? Do you want to hear the brief update I have on both of these? I have a little more on Corey Burke because we haven't really talked too much about that. Hey, tomorrow, kiddo, you're gonna pull in the gang and make a plan to make me the judge. I don't want to judge that case. I'm totally biased. There were children. There was innocent people involved. Yeah. And I would be so biased. Like I don't know if I'd make a good judge. I think I'm too much of a hothead. Like I wear my red-headed reputation quite loudly. I don't think I'd make a good judge. Mm-mm. Yeah. Besides, you could read my face. You know what I'm thinking like all the time. I can't even keep it out of my voice what I'm thinking, like when I'm trying to be, cool about something when I'm not. I know, hothead with a smile. Exactly. And a laugh. But I admit it. I am, I have strong opinions about certain things. I don't think I could be as even tempered as a judge needs to be. I do have a love for the law though, but I do really have a hate of bad legal manners. Y'all know that. Like I can't stand it. I really can't. Just there'd be more people sitting in the court, in the jails for contempt. Like there'd be no room for the real criminals. No, thank you. Thank you tomorrow, kiddo. It's okay. So what do you guys want? You want Corey Burke or Ted Cullam? Or shall I just spin the wheel? Hi, Jasper. Hiding bad legal manners seems like a benefit as a judge. No, halting them. Yes. Yes, but it's almost impossible. People get crazy. Like they get crazy. Spin the wheel. Okay. I think I will then, Jasper. Let me just take it down. Let me see just who pops up first. Okay. The first one that popped up, because it was the very next one, is Tad Cullam. This is the Kansas mom's case. This was the missing mom, Veronica Butler, and her court-appointed advocate for visiting her children, Jillian Kelly. And these 5 people, Tad Cullam, Cora and Cole Twombly, Paul Grice, and Tiffany Adams, who is Tad Cullam's girlfriend at the time. Okay. And these bad eggs, so to speak, are all charged with the 2 counts of murder. Some of them with aiding and abetting the disposals of the bodies, some of them with the actual murder. But actually, the only 3 going to trial that I can see are Paul Grice, Tiffany Adams, and Tad Cullam, because it does appear that Cora Twombly, I think we reported it in the past, she made a plea deal. She is actually testifying for the prosecution with her limited hands-on but extensive premeditation of the crimes in conspiracy to commit the crimes and the actual organizing of the crimes. And her husband, Cole, in the pretrial hearing, backed out, saying he didn't need a pretrial hearing anymore. There was enough evidence to go to trial. But I don't see his trial dates matching up with the other 3. So we have to wait to hear about that. Okay. Cora pled. Everybody else pled not guilty. Paul Grice, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But here's the thing that's going on right now. They're all going to be coming up with hearings soon, and I keep track of that. They're going to be in April, okay? And these are going to be the standard hearings where they do their arraignment, and then they get their conference on the schedule of the times and everything like that. But Tad Cullam recently filed a motion to recuse the judge of this case. The judge is named John K. Parsley. And apparently, the whole thing is because Judge Parsley actually was a defense attorney in a civil case in 2010, many years ago, for Tiffany Adams. And she's a co-defendant and co-conspirator in this case. That would, not saying that there's bias, but it would lead to questionable bias in this case against Tad Cullam. So we are probably getting a new judge, and I would expect that everything's going to be delayed because the judge is there for all of them. They were keeping all the cases together. There is also a filing to separate the cases so they get a fair case, but because it is the same crime and all, it's been leaning towards they're going to keep it together. The only one that will get a separate arraignment in sentencing is going to be Cora because she pled out. Okay, so unless Cole and Paul plead out, they'll be in the same trial schedule as far as we can see right now. A lot of this is sealed. A lot of this we can't get a hold of because of the type of crimes that it is and because of all of the records that are involved in it in regards to the children in custody. The states are really, really tough on that kind of stuff. But what we do know is that I do have the actual filing of Cullam. Hold on, and I'll pull it up for you. If you're interested in reading that kind of stuff, I definitely have that one. Where's that number? Let me just make sure it's shared before I post the link. Okay. Oh, typo. Here we go. And here is the link. Anybody with a PC, if you want to just make sure that it's open, I'm pretty sure that I did it right this time. Yeah. Follow the steps. Here we go. These are some nasty individuals when you read about this crime. I have posted the links before to the actual criminal affidavit and what they're accused of. They actually have stated Cora's testimony on how things happened, and her point of it was actually posted. And if you want those links, contact me. Anytime you want documents that I am talking about that I have, please get on the back of a video, ask me, or get into a DM, just tell me, because I do want to share the information. It's all about facts and information. I don't want to persuade you one way or the other. I want you to read things and hear things for yourself, because that's my fascination with true crime, and that's what I'm out here to do. Yes, I do give my opinion about a lot of stuff, and I do the commentary on it because I like it. I like talking about it, and I do have strong opinions about certain things, but I want you to have yours also in the freedom to say all that, because yes, I do post all of this in the library, and if you are a member of either the Patreon or my channel, then you can be in the Discord. And all you have to do is hit me up and I'll get you in there if you already have a membership. We do have some members who are not in there, and it's a perk. It is one of the only perks you get as a member, besides some pre-listed videos here and there, And I do put a lot of information on the cases in there, a lot of the daily stuff that we can't, we're talking in the library. I'm posting. Would you guys agree with some of my members of the library agree that there is postings on most cases almost on a regular basis? Like every day I'm posting in 2 or 3 cases. There's a case for all the actors. There's cases for unsolved. There's the ones going through appeal. anything I find on any of the cases. I do spend a little bit of time on a regular basis keeping everything up to date. And there's also a list of hearings that are coming up, whether I'm covering them or not. Like they're listed. Like I may not have a live recording, but all the information of when things are coming up, when the trials are, what's going on. Each case has its own room and the ability for you guys to talk in there and ask questions. And that's one thing for those of you that are members of the library, feel free to put questions in there, ask for information. I mean, that's what it's for. It's for communicating, Tomorrow says, I get a lot of being in the Discord that I can keep up to date with and go deeper because of the time zone here. I don't always catch the lives, and it heaps more info in the Discord. Yes, because there's more than I could even talk about in the session, isn't there? Like there's always, just on the Karen Reed case, I posted every single decision. I just briefly told you about them. But if you want the deets and you want to know actually what Judge Canone said, if you've got a fascination for the docs, they're all there. Everything I could get my hands on is in there. Is in there. The same thing with Lori Vallow when she was filing her motions, Like I don't want to come out here and spend 5 hours reading the motions to you. That's not my thing. Like I want you to know about them. I do, and I want to talk about them, but I think it would be boring. I mean, I know some of you like my voice, and I can be entertaining a little bit here and there, but I don't think you want to hear 5 hours of legal jargon. As much as I love it every day, reading it in the morning, I will have pity on you. I really don't think you guys are into it like that. I can read the room, but yeah. Yep. In the Discord, you can sort by the cases that interest you. That's right. You can actually put. Yep. Yes, you can. Yep. Thank you, guys. Like, I'm glad that some of you are actually using it, And, there are other people. It's not just members in there. There are people that collaborate with me. There's a lot of creative people in there that I stream with, that I have done work with. Parts of my, if you're part of the read that I do for the Hitchhiker's Guide that I'm doing right now, or if you're going to be part of the Black Mirror series or the Claire Ruins Everything series on doing commentary on entertainment, as far as movies and anime and music, anything like that, you get in the Discord, and like I said, it can be a resource. I don't want to sound like a Discord salesperson, but that is where I put a lot of the information in a lot of the communication. I'm trying to put more on the community tab too, but it is difficult. It is difficult because I'm so busy gathering, I forget to actually type out these small things. But anyway, that is the update on the Kansas moms. Oh, the other thing about the Kansas moms is there's now a civil suit against all of them, and everybody involved from Veronica Butler's family for the children. And that I'm going to be, I don't normally follow the civil suits, but I'm going to follow that one because they were wronged in so many ways. Tiffany Adams used her power and misled the court system, DHS, everybody involved in this case. And they need to be sued just so that they look at it and do an actual investigation into how that could never happen again. Because apparently the only way to get change is to make them pay. Because they would, what was done was horrible. The way that this woman, Tiffany Adams, orchestrated the abuse of this system because she wanted her way is horrific. And when you read the details of the case, hopefully all of this will come out in the trial. And I hope that it will be able to be used in the civil suit. Because, I don't normally advocate for people to sue people when, they done something to you or whatever. I don't think it's a good way to settle an agreement, but when you can't get an agreement and you can't get people to take accountability, then that's what this is for, because that's what it's about with civil suits. It's about you feeling that you were wronged and somebody's not taking accountability, and it's to get the story out there and make them pay. Because, usually if you make them pay, they start paying attention, right? And in a capitalist country like America, it seems to be the only way sometimes. And, So this is one of those civil suits that I support. I definitely am supporting this one. All right. So we got one last case. If you don't have any more questions about Kansas moms, is a very sad case. And I want to follow it because I want to see the evil pay. And I do, being a little biased here, but based on the evidence and the statements of people that were involved, like Paul Greiser actually saying, and Cora Twombly, who actually, they are part of this whole thing, actually saying what happened. I do believe that all 5 are guilty. And I do think that all 5 should pay. And I'm hoping the deals won't be kind. They should have to pay. You don't get to just organize the demise of 2 innocent people and then just make a plea to turn on everybody else involved and walk away. I do hope that it's strict. It's Oklahoma, and I'm hoping that everybody does everything by the book and they will pay, because I do actually believe that all 5 are guilty. I don't think there's an innocent one among any of them. So there's that. And I base that on the statements of those involved, not just what law enforcement is saying. So I'll admit my bias on that one. Sorry if you guys don't want to follow it with me now, because I am a bit biased about this one. Okay. All right. Last one. Okay. I very distastefully joked about this case in November when it happened, that it was my pre-Christmas gift because I had asked to cover an axe murder. And on election night in 2024, Corey Burke, a 33-year-old employee of Blue Virgin, the aerospace company, very educated young woman, great job in managing in training of the actual programs there in this aerospace company. On election night, due to what is claimed to be a mental health event, she took an ice axe and she murdered her father. Her father, 67-year-old Timothy, was living in her home, which is a huge home in Seattle, Washington. $800,000, beautiful, modern-esque, large windows. It's her home. He was living there because of health concerns and he's not able to get out and about regularly anymore. Well, basically, they had a disagreement because he wouldn't turn the lights out. Or these are her statements. A lot of what I'm going to say is coming from what she told the police on the day of the event. They found out about the event because at about 8 o'clock on election night, the neighbors were complaining because Corey Burke was running through the house, breaking every window. And so they called the police. And when the police came, she was outside. And she had blood on her hands and her face. And she would not let them inside. She would not let them voluntarily search the house. She was being resistant. But they heard before she opened the door and came out, loud clapping and laughing. And they asked her about that. And she said she was clapping. She was clapping because she was so happy. When asked about the windows, she said she was celebrating her liberation. So it was election night. And some people are, as Mrs. C says, she says right here, and I'm going to get to the crust. I don't actually believe that it was politically involved, but politics are coming into it because, well, that was the Trump election. And Corey Burke is married to Samantha Lee Allen, who is a transgender author of prominence in the community. She's a Condé Nast author. She's written books. And this is a couple who was out there advocating for LGBTQ rights strongly. Okay, that is a picture of Samantha with her. Okay. The picture below the house is what Corey looks like now when she went for her hearing. Okay. Now, Corey Brooke, on the night of, she would not let them in. Okay. But in further questioning of her, and about it, they decided that she was a danger to herself and her actions when she said she was clapping because she was so happy. She's got obvious blood on her hands and her face. And she's making some weird statements that we'll go into later. They decide to put her under a mental health evaluation, and they had her carted away, to the hospital where she was put under observation and, for a mental health evaluation and checked out. Meanwhile, while she is taken there, they enter the house. And after searching the home, they went into the basement and found the body of her father, Timothy. He was dead. He had punctures in the front and in the back of his skull. Laying near him was the ice pick covered with blood. It also, he was in a compromised position. Okay. Further conversation with Corey Brooke afterwards during police investigation. She admitted that he wouldn't turn on the lights and turn off the lights. And she had an altercation about it. She couldn't take it anymore. That she has a very weird relationship with her father, and she feels pressure all the time because of the constraints of this parentage. And now she admits to tripping him. She went down into the basement because she couldn't get him to do what she wanted. And she went down to the basement where he was at the time, and she tripped him. She says she bit him on the back because she was trying to strangle him with the axe, like putting it on his throat, the bar of it. But he was too strong. So they were flipping around, and she bit him in the back. And then she could not get him to actually strangle. So she turned the axe around and bludgeoned him in the head and also in the torso because there is a puncture to his lung. It was actually came up in the autopsy. Okay, so he died of asphyxiation in the lung puncture in being bludgeoned in the head, and his body did have bite marks on it. I'm going to give you a link to a video that I found quite interesting in regards to this case. There's very, very little out there, I will tell you that. But this actual video is by Todd Grande, and it's like a psychological evaluation because that is very prominent in this case, and it is what we're talking about. I believe she was third. There are two ages given to Mauro Kiddo. Some people say she was 31. Some people say she was 33. She's in her early 30s for sure. Okay. This whole story is crazy. The man was, living there. They obviously, it was her home. There was obviously something going on. There was obviously a lot of pressures. And I have heard from a lot of people that felt pressure around election time. And there were many a person that I even know, myself included, that felt very close to a mental event over this election. And I know that sounds crazy to admit, but I felt stress. I felt anxiety. And I'm just going to put it out there that anybody that actually had anything going on, it could push them over the edge. And being an advocate in the LGBT community, actually being part of that community and thinking that now, well, the pressures of your life being threatened, about being less than, about having a whole government come after you now. These are real things that people were feeling at the time of the elections and still to this day. And I'm not going to make it small. It's a thing. It's out there. Okay. And it may contributed to this, but mental health is going to be a big part of this case. Is it horrible that she took an ice axe and killed her father? Absolutely. But how did we get there? Because this was a very prominent person in the community. She has a great job, great education. They've done art, they've done philanthropy, they've done, good causes for people. There wasn't that much weirdness that anybody was talking about. It's going to be a thing. And I think mental health is still part of it because I have to say that recently, the reason I'm talking about it now, well, anyway, she was arraigned She's on $2 million worth of bail. They wouldn't let her out. She had to go in for mental health evaluation again. And since then, the trial has been rescheduled 3 times. Most recently, just at the end of March, and it was supposed to go off for April, and it has now been moved to June. June 17th, I believe. And the reason that I'm talking about it today is because I see several filings on the case that I can't get because they're locked up, and they're expert testimony, and they're under seal. And I'm thinking if you have an expert and you put something under seal, it's because it's either about a minor or it's about mental health. In this case, since she's not a minor and neither was the victim, I'm saying it is probably for mental health. I think that Corey Burke is back and forth into a mental health facility getting evaluated. I think this is going to be an ongoing issue in regards to this case. There is no plea on the table. She has not accepted, or she did not plead guilty. She pled not guilty. That's a picture of her at her hearing. And Samantha Allen has made her wife, they're married. They're not only a couple, they're actually married. And she has made no statement in regards to this case whatsoever. And the defense is being pretty close-lipped too. She has 2 public defenders, okay, on her case. And I don't see many filings going back and forth. And when you don't see filings on a case that is coming to trial pretty quickly, it's usually because it's in a stay. Now, I don't know for sure, but that's what it looks like to me. It looks like it is being stayed because of competency. Now, we know that when Lori Daybell went into competency, it took 10 months before that case could progress. And it's starting to look a little bit like that for me here. Now, we're going to have, in May, there'll be another hearing. It's scheduled anyway. We don't know if it'll be continued or if they will continue moving the trial date. Well, she has not waived speedy trial. So we'll have to see. And I'll keep digging for more details. But that's what it appears like to me, that the reason that this case is not going to go off when we thought it would is there's something going on with an expert. It's sealed. There's like 4 or 5 filings on it. And then they, at the same time all these filings happened, they moved the trial again. They canceled the upcoming hearing and moved the trial to June. Rescheduled the hearing for May. Mm-hmm. Politics is so divisive and dangerous. And you know what? In 2024, in this climate, yes, it is. I would agree with that. It has become a quagmire. It's become the Grand Canyon of despair for many of us. She should have kicked him out then or put him in a home. I get that. And I don't know why turning off the lights was such a big deal on election night. Actually at 8:00, all the votes weren't in yet, so I don't know. And this was escalating. I think maybe they had different political opinions. Maybe he wasn't happy with her lifestyle. Maybe she always felt pressure to get. I don't know their personal dynamic. I do know that she has made statements about helping others be free of their parents and the inhibitions that our parents can put on us and the judgment and the things like that, that it's unhealthy to be attached to your parents. These are statements she's made in the past. These are some things that she has been credited to say during the interview. Not expanding on it, but this is a belief that she had from the past. So she may have a little weird, skewed relationship there, and actually believe that it's some kind of inhibitance, to have so much care about what your parents think about you and stuff like that. There's more research that needs to be done as far as that on my part. I can't really speak on it. I just know the couple of statements she made. And I kind of did this Scooby-Doo. I went, huh? What? The head to the tilt, like, what? What was that? Like, really? Really? Is that where we're going? But it all just sounds like there was definitely something seriously going on in a mental health way here. I don't think anybody picks up an ice axe in and kills a a parent or an elderly person in their house. And here's the thing, he wasn't really debilitated. She said she had to bite him and struggle with him because he was that strong. And the other thing that tells me there was something seriously wrong here is that in her statement to the police, the other thing that she did before she got up and went and broke all the windows, after she stabbed him, attacked him with the ice axe and punctured his lung, he was still alive. So she sat next to him until he took his last breath. You heard me? She sat there with him until he died. Then she went upstairs and broke all the windows in what she claims celebration of her liberation. There's a bigger story here that I don't know if we're ever going to know. But, watch Dr. Grande's video and you'll see what I mean. He makes some good points and he got me thinking, Yeah, she stayed with him. I don't know if she hated him or she had mixed feelings with him. I don't know what. But I'm sure if we do get to trial, we may hear a defense that uses it, you know. I just don't know what may have happened. I don't know what happened, where her mom is, any of that. We'll have to do more research to do. But that, without any questions, is my update on that one. So now remind me, people, never to wish for an axe murder again for the holidays, okay? Because this is a horrible case. Be careful what you wish for. Like I said it jokingly, and then boom, it popped into my DMs. But I do like true crime. I don't like the suffering that goes with it. I don't like things involved with kids. I hate that anybody lost their life. My passion for true crime is a fascination of the law. And in this particular case, the hook is not the axe, as you might think. It is how to present this case with the mental health issue that is isolated to this one day, like what was going on. How can we possibly present it to a jury of what she was actually feeling and what was actually going on? Is it in a proper defense? And how is the prosecution going to portray it also? As she's just a cold-blooded killer? Because all of her statements in her interview clearly indicate there was something wrong there, something seriously wrong. And that's why I want to cover it, because of the difficulty on both sides to be able to present the case accurately. Is TDS in the DSM? TDS? I'm missing it. Am I being dense? I'm not sure what you mean by TDS. I do not know. Teacher Daniel, welcome. Damien, I do not know if she was. There's not a lot of great detail. This case is sealed. Probably due to her mental health issue at the time of the crime and the type of filings that they're making. There are very few filings on it. It is out of Seattle, Washington in Kings County. I do have a case number. Anybody who wants to look up the case themselves, it's in the Discord. If you go to the pinned part of the room, you will find a link to the site that has the records. And also you'll see a link with the case number. And that's in most of the rooms. Anybody who's not in my Discord and still wants the information, please contact me. I am happy to give it to you. But it's all locked up. It is locked up. And, I don't often you can pay for files, but it won't do you any good to pay for these files because they are actually sealed. So that you got to learn to read the sites to figure out what's sealed and not. Because then if you try to pay for them, and it is very hard to get your money back, Oh, Trump derangement syndrome. Is that what TDS is? Is that what you meant there, Grace? What Jen said? Because I don't think that is in the DSM, but I think there are plenty of disorders where people take things personally that are like governmental or Big Brother or the Matrix and all of that. Like there's disorders. They have other names for them though. Surely. Yeah, I'm surely they have a less specific name for it. But yeah, I'm sure there's something very akin to it in the DSM, you know. This is one of those cases that I have to like get a hold of some of my therapist and psychiatrist friends to talk about, and I think that that's going to make for some very interesting conversations, like when we did the Murdaugh trial and we talked about, patricide, we talked about, family annihilation. um I do want to talk to some people about this stuff, so I have to find me some therapists and some psychiatrists. A lot of my friends, they did that. I was just so busy right now, like terribly so. Hey, let me just put it out there. Anybody that wants to, that has any inclination to any of that, or of somebody, hit me up. you know okay. Wonder why so much. Probably because of the mental health condition. If she's going under evaluation, like I said, there's not any regular filings either. These things are sealed. The ones that were this expert testimony was sealed, and I think it had to do with the mental health. It may have been reports from the facility to the court in regards to her status on whether she's competent or not. Like if she's going through competency, that's definitely what it is. Yes, that's what I meant. There's like other names for it, right? Tomorrow Kiddo. It's like, yeah. Confidentiality is important when it comes to personal medical records, mental health, and also child records, in the court systems. And I support that. Like, I'm not complaining that that's sealed. That's her right. I'm just, we're speculating a little bit as to the reason, but it does appear to me with all the trial delays that that's what it is, because there are no requests to delay the trial on file from either side, which means it was coming internally through what I would call the competency. Oh, that's pretty cool, teacher. Um, I didn't know that that was that cheap, and I don't think everything's listed though. Do they do particular states? Because I know I could go through Pacer, and if it's public up there, like federal stuff is all there. Some civil stuff is all there, but criminal cases are hard to get on Pacer, unless they're done federally, like in New York, like the Combs case. But I can give you the number of this case. You could see if you can find anything on it. I'd appreciate some help if you got it. That'd be cool. And I'm not asking you to do anything for free either. I definitely would want to pay anyone for the documents if they get a hold of anything, if they have access through anything that they sign up with. Like, no, I definitely will reimburse, because that's what I do with the channel. I just spend it all on court documents. If I'm not giving it away to help another creator or to help somebody get something for their small channel or doing donations, that's what I'm doing with it. Court fees, court records, you know. So there we go on that. If you guys don't have any questions on any of the what is it? How many cases did we do? 6? 5? I don't know. It sounded like a lot. Reed, Vallow, Tate, Cullam, Caneiro, Court. We did 6. Wow. I did 6 in less than 2 hours. You know what? I could post the case number right now in the chat. Like, I don't even have to email, because I'm not sure I have your email, but I have this in my room. Hold on one second, the teacher Damien, and anybody else who's interested. I might as well put it in here anyway. If anybody. Okay. This. Okay, first I'm listing the court site for the county. Okay, and you have to look up under You have to look up under the case number, and next I'll give you the case number. And this is like how it goes. And here's the case number. This is for Corey Burke in Seattle, Washington. Okay. If that case file goes to that link to that court site, like every state has their own criminal filing procedure on what is open and what isn't. I think I do have your email somewhere. I know we communicated about stuff before on another case. I do believe it was Baby Reindeer, which is stalled, totally stalled. And thank you all. Like Mrs. Cassandra said right here, thank you all for joining. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, comment, and share. Do all those YouTubey things, please. You know, it does make me feel good. It does make me feel good about being out here and doing this with you. And to all of you in the chat who are contributing while I'm live, and for all of you that comment to me later or in the comment section to ask questions or to encourage me, or even in private DM, I thank you, because actually being able to talk to you all about this is why I'm here and do it. This is just something I like to do as a hobby and a passion. I'm not looking to be a millionaire or anything like that. I just love it. And hopefully you see that, and you get some enjoyment out of it too. So there. And hello, first time chatter Tina over there in Twitch. Welcome. We're glad to have a first time chatter, but I'm finishing up now, and I hope to see you again. And to all of you in the chat, thank you for joining me. To all of you watching later, thank you. Don't forget to comment what you like, what you don't like on this case or any other case, and things you might be interested in hearing about. And I will see you all during the week, because it's a very, very busy week. And I think we're going to do something Friday. I have something special planned for Saturday that I'll post on the community tab for you. And then Sunday, well, let's just plan on hanging out. What do you think? Just a chill chat, just about, nothing. It would be nice. And you're all welcome. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking about Mayhem for Friday. We were going to do it this Friday. So if anybody's interested in joining me, and I mean anyone, it's open. Okay. It is a little crazy. We talk about a lot of different kind of stuff, but you don't have to be a creator channel or a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel with thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers. Be a little bear just like me. We all start from somewhere. But if you got something to talk about, hit me up. Thank you very much, Teacher Damien. I appreciate the help. I do too, Jean. I hear you. But you know what? In real life, we all got to give people the space that they need. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. We'll talk again soon, I assure you. Either out on the socials, here on YouTube, or on my community tab. There is so much going on in true crime right now. And we've got a live one with the Karen Reed jury during the week. And we've got Lori Vallow on April 7th, on Monday. On Monday, we will definitely have opening statements. Yeah, I'm thinking Mayhem, maybe, but possibly Friday. That depends on whether people hit me up to be there. As it's hard to hold Mayhem down by ourselves, isn't it, guys? All right. Everybody have a good night, and we'll talk again soon.